together lecture number 10 in our course Modern Drama. Okay, now let's see what we have here. We have here some points or some themes that you need to know about the play in general, like this one: Terval's and Nora's attitude towards money. Each one of them has his own different attitude from the other towards a certain point, and of course here their attitude towards money. So now Torvald and Nora's first conversation establishes Torvald as the member of the household who makes and controls the money, and Nora as the one who spends it. And this is, if you still remember, this happened at the very beginning when he accused her of being spendthrift, when he accused her of spending money unwisely. And this shows that he is the controller, he is the one who is giving the money, and Nora is the one who is taking and spending this money. Torvald repeatedly teases Nora about her spending, and at one point Mrs. Lindy points out that Nora was a big spender in her youngest days. These initial comments paint Nora as a shallow woman who is overly concerned with material delights, yet Nora's generous tip to the porter and the play's opening scene shows that she is not a selfish woman. And of course, from the very beginning, inshallah, when we start studying the text itself, you will see that she is a generous woman, someone who likes the poor people, trying to help them by giving the porter tips. More important, once the secret of Nora's loan is made known to the audience, we see that Nora's interest in money stems more from her concern for her family's welfare than from petty desires. We realize that the excitement she has expressed over Torvald's new well-being job results from the fact that more spending money means she can finally pay off her debt to Alhamdulillah, I'm sorry for this, to Krogstad, right? So we later know as audience that her interest about money is not just taking money for herself, is not spending money on herself, buying jewelries, buying dresses, or all these things, but only she needed the money just to give back, as it said, or pay off her debt to Krogstad. And remember that she got the money just to help her husband, Helmer, when he was seriously ill. Okay, while Torvald seems less enthralled by money because she does not talk about it except to chastise Nora for her spending, he is obsessed with having a beautiful home, including a beautiful also wife. He considers these things important to his reputation. Again, he cares more about appearance, reputation, appearance, all these showing off to show him that he is a prestigious person. And keeping up his reputation requires money. Although Torvald accuses Nora of wasting money, Nora spends her money mostly on worthy causes, whereas Torvald uses his for selfish, shallow purposes. By the end of Act 3, both Nora and Mrs. Lindy. Now, let's see another point here, which is Nora, Mrs. Lura, and Lindy at the end of the play. This is another point. The first point that we finished is Torvald's and Nora's attitude towards money. Now, another point that you need to know is that attitude, Mrs. Lindy and Nora at the end of the play. Are they the same? Are Nora and Mrs. Lindy, her friend, are they the same as they started the play, or complete change happened in their life at the end? Remember that at the very beginning, Nora had a family, a husband, and children, right? But at the beginning of the play, Lindy did not have a husband, did not have a family, and also she did not have children, right? At the end, both will be different. How? Nora at the end did not have a husband. She left her husband, she left her home, and also she left her children. On the opposite, on the contrary, we find that Lindy is going to marry Krogstad, and of course she is going to be like a mother to his children, and she has a family, and she has a house, and which means that her family will be stable and established. So the two are completely different from the beginning to the end. So again, Mrs. Lindy and Nora at the end of the play. By the end of Act 3, both Nora and Mrs. Lindy have entered new phases, new stages, new area in their lives. Nora has chosen to abandon her children, to forsake, to leave her children, and she has chosen, it was her own choice, her own decision, to abandon, to leave, to forsake her children and her husband, because she wants independence. She wanted to be independent from her rules as mother and wife. In contrast, and this is the opposite, as I said, on the contrary, we find that Mrs. Lindy has chosen to abandon her independence. The opposite. She chooses not to be alone anymore. So she has chosen to abandon her independence to marry Krogstad. She decided to marry Krogstad and take care of his family. She likes having people depend on her. So she tries to make Krogstad and his children to depend on her, and independence does not seem to fulfill her. Despite their apparent opposition, both Nora's and Mrs. Lindy's decision allow them to fulfill their respective personal desires. They have both chosen their own fates freely and without male influence. Ibsen seems to feel that the nature of their choices is not as important as the fact that both women make the choices themselves. Analysis. Now we move to another point, which is about the analysis of major characters. We have some major characters, of course, in this play. We need to have like analysis, knowing more, to go deeply inside these characters to have a better idea about the main or the major characters that we have here. First, and of course the most important, the protagonist, the heroine of this play is of course Nora Helmer. At the beginning of A Doll's House, Nora seems completely happy. She seems completely happy. She responds affectionately to Torvald's teasings, speaks with excitement about extra money his new job will provide, and takes pleasure in the company of her children and friends. She does not seem to mind her doll-like existence, in which she is coddled, pampered, and patronized. As the play progresses, Nora reveals that she is not just a silly girl. This is what she emphasizes and what she affirms at the end of the play, that she's not a silly girl, as Torvald calls her, that she understands the business details related to the debt she incurred. Taking out a loan to preserve Torvald's health indicates that she is intelligent and possesses capacities beyond mere wifehood. Her description of her years of secret labor undertaken to pay off her debt shows her fierce determination and ambition. She explained, if you still remember, she explained to Lindy how she is trying to pay off the debt, the loan, how she's trying to return the money back to the bank by trying to save half of the money given to her by her husband in order to pay these installments once more. So this shows that she is determined, and also she is ambitious, and she is wise person in spending money, and not as he accused her of being spendthrift or extravagant, or spending money unwisely. Additionally, the fact that she was willing to break the law in order to ensure Torvald's health show her courage. Of course, a wife who could take a decision like this, lending money from, borrowing money from the bank in order to help her husband, it shows that, of course, she is a very brave woman, a courageous one to do this, and very sincere to help her sick husband. Krogstad's blackmail and the trauma that follows do not change Noura's nature. We find that it did not change her nature. They open her eyes to her unfulfilled and underappreciated potential. I have been performing tricks for you, Torvald, she says during her climactic confrontation with him. Noura comes to realize that in addition to her literal dancing and singing tricks, she has been putting on a show throughout her marriage. She has pretended to be someone she is not in order to fulfill the role that Torvald, her father, and society at large have expected of her. Torvald's severe and self-reaction after learning of Noura's deception and forgery is the final catalyst for Noura's awakening. But even in the first act, Noura shows that she is not totally unaware that her life is at odds with her true personality. She defies Torvald in small yet meaningful ways by eating macaronis and then lying to him about it, for instance. She also swears, apparently just for the pleasure she derives from minor rebellion against societal standards. As the drama unfolds and as Noura's awareness of the truth about her life grows, her need for rebellion escalates, culminating in her walking out on her husband and children to find independence. Then we move to another important character, who is Torvald Helmer, her husband. Torvald embraces the belief that a man's role in marriage, his role in marriage is to protect and guide his wife. He clearly enjoys the idea that Noura needs his guidance, and he interacts with her as a father would. He instructs her with trite, moralistic sayings such as a home that depends on loans and debt is not beautiful because it is not free. So you will find that this character is trying to say something and do something else. As we said that before, that he is not practicing what he preached. He is not following all the pieces of advice he gave to his wife Noura. He is also eager to teach Noura the dance she performs at the costume party. Torvald likes to envision himself as Noura's savior, asking her after a party. So all the time he is trying to show that he is her superior, he is her advisor, he is her counselor all the time, and he likes this role, that she depends on him. Do you know that I have often wished you were facing some terrible dangers so that I could risk life and limb, risk everything for your sake. So of course these lines said by him definitely before getting the letter of threat from Krogstad. And of course, his situation is completely different from what he is saying, and that's why that's why I say that he is preaching, or he is saying something and doing something different. Do you know that I have often wished you were facing some terrible dangers? And when she really faced these terrible dangers, he did not do anything. On the contrary, he accused her, as I said before, of destroying his future and of destroying his happiness. So he's saying something, and when it really comes to the situation in which really Noura needs his help, he did not help her. So he said, do you know that I have often wished you were facing some terrible dangers, so that I could risk life and limb, risk everything for your sake. Although Torvald seizes the power in his relationship with Noura and refers to her as a girl, it seems that Torvald is actually the weaker and more a childlike character. So some events that happen show that Torvald is like childlike character. Dr. Rank's explanation for not wanting Torvald to enter his sick room: Torvald is so fastidious. Fastidious means that he is not satisfied with things easily. He cannot face up to anything ugly. Suggests that Dr. Rank feels Torvald must be sheltered like a child from the realities of the world, which means that he is not a reliable person. He is not someone that you can rely on, or someone that you can depend on, right? Furthermore, Torvald reveals himself to be childishly petty at times. His real objection to working with Krogstad stems not from deficiencies in Krogstad's moral character, but rather Krogstad's overly friendly and familiar behavior, right? So, and this is also, we mentioned this point before when we covered that point about the reasons why Helmer hated Krogstad, and this is also one of the reasons. He wanted to dismiss him out of the rank because of this, because of Krogstad's friendly and familiar behavior to him. Torvald's decision to fire Krogstad stems ultimately from the fact that he feels threatened and offended by Krogstad's failure to pay him the proper respects. Of course, he dismissed him out of the bank because he found that Krogstad was trying to come close to him by calling him with some familiar name, and to deal with him in a way, in an intimate way, which might make the other employers in the bank think that he is a close friend of Krogstad. Torvald is very conscious of other people's perceptions of him and of his standing in the community. His explanation for rejecting Noura's request that Krogstad be kept on at the office, that retaining Krogstad would make him a laughing stock before the entire staff, shows that he prioritizes his reputation over his wife's desire. Torvald further demonstrates his deep need for society's respect in his reaction to Noura's deception. Although he says that Noura has ruined his happiness, as he said, and will not be allowed to raise the children, and this is also another attitude he took against Noura, that he wanted to separate her from his children because he believes that by doing so she is going to poison their ideas and their morals. Although he says that Noura has ruined his happiness and will not be allowed to raise the children. He insists that she remains in the house because the chief concern is saving the appearance of their household. So although he believed in a moment that she's about to destroy his happiness and his future, but in spite of this, we never find him asking her to leave the house or finding him dismissing her out of the house. Why? Because of the appearance in front of the society. And this is what he really wants, the appearance, to be in a good appearance in front of the other people. Now we have here, if we want to have some model questions, you can of course get some lines from here to show that these are the model questions that you can get. For example, although Travel seizes the power in his relationship with Noura and refers to her as, you can change the word as here and put as a girl, as a boy, as a lady, or as a student, for example. So these choices you can take from here. Okay, so again, if we also move to another point here, you can say Dr. Rang's explanation for not wanting Torvald to enter his sick room. This shows how childish his behavior, Krogstad's, and also, I mean, Helmer's child's behavior to Noura. So Dr. Rang's explanation for not wanting Torvald to enter his sick room shows that Torvald is fastidious, and you can have some questions on the word fastidious. For example, that Torvald is so peaceful person, accepting things, satisfied with things, or fastidious. So you can here use the word fastidious here. Okay, also you can have something about this. Furthermore, Torvald reveals himself to be childishly petty at times, and this, of course, as we said before, appears during his real objection to working with Krogstad from deficiencies in Krogstad moral. So what I want you to make sure of is that you need to read the lines that you have here, and as I said, I will my way of questioning or of giving you some questions is similar to the one that I gave you before in the previous lectures. What I do is just trying to take some lines from this one and giving you the completion you need to complete this. Okay, for example, let me give you another example. Although he says that Noura has ruined his, and take the word happiness, and will not be allowed to raise the children. So I will take, for example, although he says that Noura has ruined his what? To take the word happiness, ruined his car, his house, or his for example papers, for example, right? And choice number 4 is his happiness. So you need only to choose the word happiness. What I mean is you need to read these lines thoroughly and carefully in order to make sure that you know each word here. And your job is all the time when you are reading, and when you are reading my lectures and studying the lectures, you need to ask yourself what's the question that can be here about this line or this sentence or whatever, right? If you do this, definitely you will feel that you can answer all the questions easily. So my advice to you is to make questions, to set some questions, to put some question on each sentence that you have. Okay, and inshallah, do not be worried about the inshallah the exam. Everything inshallah will be fine. Another question, for example, here he insists that she remains in the house. Why? For example, Helmer insists that Noura should remain in the house because of what? Because of his chief concern is saving what? Putting number one, for example, appearance. Number two, saving money, saving time, saving effort. So you have here 4 choices, right? Again, so Helmer insists that Noura should remain in the house because his chief concern is number one, saving appearance, number B, or saving, or letter B, saving money, C, saving effort, number D, or letter D is saving money or time. So what's the right answer? Of course, the right answer is saving the appearance, right? So this is the way that you will have, inshallah, your final exam. The exam, inshallah, will not be difficult. It needs only you to read the lectures more than 1 time. Of course, do not expect that 1 time is enough. If you read the lecture, no, you need to be in touch, or to keep in touch all the time with the lines that's written here. Whenever you find yourself free, just go through the lectures and try to read them every now and then. The more you read, definitely the more you will be familiarized with the questions. The more you will find yourself familiarized with you are familiarized with the way that you will have your inshallah questions. Do not worry, inshallah, you will find yourself able to answer all the questions. And of course, as I said at the very beginning of this lecture, or I don't remember if it is the previous lecture, remember that inshallah you can ask me. I'll be available during my office hours, as I said, which are on Saturday and on also Sunday evening, during evening time from 7 o'clock till 8:30, and inshallah you will find yourself able to ask me any question that you like. I'll be happy to receive your calls to answer your questions and your inquiries during these 2 days, during these office hours. Please stick to these office hours, because you might find the mobile turned off during the rest of the days. I mean, from Monday to Friday, the mobile will be turned off. So the times that you are able to call me are these times only, during Saturday and Sunday from 7 to 8:30 in the evening. And inshallah, if you have any question, just try to prepare them before calling me, please. I'd like to hear that you have a specific point that you are asking about. Okay, you have now the way of the questions. You have now the way how to answer this. And as I mentioned before, that inshallah, starting from the coming lectures, lecture number 11, 12 and number 13, you are going inshallah to discuss and enjoy with me the text itself. Inshallah, you will have the text, and I'll show you how you can analyze the text. It's very important that you feel the text, that you are able to analyze, not just read the text. Reading the text superficially will not give you the enjoyment and the pleasure that you need to know about this lecture, but about this text. But it's very important that you can enjoy the text itself. Okay, thank you very much. See you inshallah in the coming lecture. All the best to all of you, and inshallah see you in the coming lecture. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.